happening. It's happening. It's
The
happening.
last thing he said was, "Are you ready?" And the answer was always no. Hello, everyone.
How are we going?
Hello. We're back again. Statr time. Statr Week 6.
Game week six. And do you know what? I think we're starting to see some patterns unfolding. But like we'll get into like a lot of woods and deeper shit over the next couple of weeks because Gary will be back next week and Dean will be back the week after. So we're missing little Dino because he's off on his Ollie Bops. He's on his honeymoon, isn't he? He's like a little shower love. And then
we attended his wedding last week. That was riotous good fun.
Was it?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
probably.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm sure I'm a bit kind of patchy on the details, but it was fun.
It was fun though, having like the lads popping up and be like, "What you say about Yagres?" And like, "Oh no, it's happening." Oh no, you're silly. It's happening.
Yeah, so it's a lesson hard learned when you realize that these things you say out into the internet come back at you in real life. That's fun. That's a hoot. I'm just glad I don't live anywhere near London because the lads over at what used to be Highbury don't like me very much this week. That's okay.
You have the Arsenal fans on your case. I have the Wolves fans in my case. But like we both, I think we've triggered certain fan bases.
They were right. No, do you know what? I looked into it, right? And let's just clear the air here, right? Arsenal fans, I love you. I love twisting your nips. I really do. But I love you guys, right? Mostly because you're not City. So I had a look into the error I made last week that you were quick to correct, wherein apparently Arsenal can't beat the big teams, which I said, which technically isn't true. You're right. You do have one of the best records against big six teams. In fact, and tell me if this sounds familiar, you're ranked second. Well done, guys. Second place.
Again.
Go you. Well done. Top drawer. Just top drawer.
You're not
anyway,
petty at all.
So I'm not petty at all. Not when I'm right.
No. What's it called? Speaking of which, one of those boys did get in your team of the week, though, didn't it?
Absolutely. And the team of the week this week is another absolutely swirling mess of what the hell is going on. I'm not really sure what's going on in places at the moment. But yeah, are we going there?
What I love about our little team of the week, right, for context here, like it's going to be a little different to other teams of the weeks that you see. So obviously online you see some which is pundit based and making their opinions. You've obviously got things like the FPL team of the week, which is going to be based on their FPL haul. Ours is based off of our very detailed data system. So we're looking at a little more. We're looking at essentially you're looking at impact. It's not just about who scored the goal or who got the assist. It's guys who put in the work on the given week.
The lads who put in a shift. The lads who tooled up and got the job done, even if it wasn't the glory. However, I will say this week's team of the week is 10 lads who scored and 1 lad who kept a clean sheet. So goals still matter. In case anybody was getting worried that we're like, no, we only care about the color of the shoelaces. No, goals still matter. But the team of the week this week, once again, only one survivor from last week's top 11. So shall I? Like, can we start with my own verbal ignorance? I don't know how to pronounce the Sunderland goalie's name. It's like
Rofs.
Belgian? Dutch, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. I don't know.
The honest answer is I actually don't know. I should know. But he's been a very good buy.
He has.
Sunderland are doing bits.
They're doing more than bits, mate. They're on for a Champions League spot if they keep going the way they're going.
They won't. No, they did drop tidy money in the summer. They're one of those teams. They did drop tidy money in the summer when they were coming up. They said, fuck it, let's have a go. I think they purchased quite well. Your man Rofs looks like a solid keeper, and then they've got a fella in midfield who will touch upon shortly. But like they're up to bits.
Indeed, they are up to bits, and their goalie was the only goalie that kept a clean sheet last week. So 20 teams play, 19 let in a goal. One man manages to hold a siege and away, no less. So fair play. Roofs with 28 this week. Back 3 this week, not a back 4. We're back down to a back 3.
3-4-3 this week, wasn't it?
3-4-3, which is overall not only about the swing and points from back to front.
We just don't talk about just don't talk about a 3-4-3 to United fans at the moment.
No, they don't like those. 3 at the back is the problem. Not buying a decent defender for 3 years isn't the problem. But luckily, that's the last we have to say about Man United because this is the good players this week. First up, with a goal for my beloved Arsenal, it's Migales. He was everywhere. I mean, there's almost every week there's a different Arsenal back. They really are. Like, if you don't know positions wise, what do I do? If you're looking at a blank in your team, the easiest decision you will ever make is put an Arsenal defender there, because
They're almost on rotation. It's like Saliba signed a new contract. He's probably due his goal contribution
his is
next
coming
week.
up. Yeah, it was Timber twice a couple of weeks
Calafiori
ago.
2 weeks ago.
Calafiori at the
Timber
start.
the week
Yeah,
before that. Or
one of them's going to do well, and none of them are going to do badly. So fair play the Gunners. Michael Keane scored a goal this week, which I'm actually delighted about, because he's one of those players that always gets drafted, never spends most of the season fit, and still really delivers per game. So if you can time the Michael Keane injury, he's always a good pick. And next up, for the second week in a row, we have a Wolves defender, someone called Bueno, who apparently scored. And fair play, Wolves scored. Oh, they even got a point.
They drew to Spurs.
With Spurs, yeah.
It's actually very interesting. I don't like doing this but look, they're still going down. It's happening, and they're done. Their team just isn't good enough. But Vitor Pereira, I actually like him as a boss. I like him as a manager. He's seen problems, and then last week went, right, we can't do what we want to do. We have to change. We have to do something different. I think he rotated 6, maybe 7 of the team, and then went
change the lineup this week.
Like literally 6, I think it was 6 or 7 changes. It became a bit more compact, a bit more defensive, and you can see it because in the last 2 weeks it's Wolves defenders who have made the team of the week. They've basically essentially become a back 5 team, and like back 5, low block, counter break, and hope Strand Larson does something pretty.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if they were a problematic set of assets in fantasy before, they're worse now that they've got high rotation and low scoring. There isn't really a whole lot to smile about there, bar, again, Krejci. Krejci is landing numbers there, and I suspect he's probably, if you're playing next door, he's going to be very cheap. If you're playing in draft, he's going to be very available. There was a 21 followed by a 13. So, it's not all bad news.
No,
but I still wouldn't be going there until things settle down.
Sure.
Because even if we get to the point where it's starting to look really, really mathematically bad for them as a football team, what will happen then is it'll still slow down, because it just does as the season progresses most of the time. Yeah. But that's it. We're back 3: Everton, Arsenal, and Wolves, and then into the midfield. And there are some very familiar names here, and one absolute fucking lightning strike. So first up, the guy who all of the passes that Everton are going through, he seems to be the conduit for everything in Everton's very busy midfield. And it's not like it's a weak field and he's the one outstanding person, because you still got Gaia, you've still got Grealish. It's all the lads whose names start with a G. But this week, once again, returning to the team of the week, it's Garner. 28
Which is very interesting, because his position has kind of changed. Like, he's moving around week to week. There's been a couple of times he's played essentially as a fullback, a wing back, in a middle 3 alongside Idris Guy. I'm not even going to do it because I'm going to forget. But like, do you know what? I think Everton's his level. Like, I know he came through at United. He was very, very highly rated there for a long time. And even when he went, there was like a year where people were like, "Oh my God, why did we sell him?" And then he's kind of just had a couple of years at Everton, but I think this year seems to be the year where he's starting to put it together to become the player that he threatened he could be, if that makes sense.
It does. It absolutely
does. Like, even at United, what he was a tidy ball operator. Like, good range of passing, busy boy, but like it was his passing was the standout attribute. Even at United as a youngster, like, so it makes sense that what you're seeing there is a high volume of key passes, a high pass completion rate, and a lot of yards being put down.
Yeah. Pass completion rate is really, really high here, and it's consistently high. But he's getting crosses with someone on the end of him as well.
Yeah.
So
that helps when they have Tierno Barry up top, who's massive. I do love that the big striker has come back into football. Do you know the way y'all have been laughing at me for 4 years? For 4 years, by the way.
It's longer than that.
Oh, yeah. But like,
about the big lads.
About with the big lad up top. Like, look across the Premier League, you've got Haaland, you've got Sesko, you've got Ekiteke, you've got Isaac, you've got Watermend across the way, you've got Gyökeres.
I like him. I like that lad playing out front for Newcastle.
I
I
like
think
him
he
too.
is going to be worth a fortune, and he was a late transfer, so anybody who might have been drafting maybe close to the window
Well,
closing.
actually, there was an Uli Hoeneß, the guy who's the chairman of Bayern. Very interesting interview. He was like, I must actually like give a glass of champagne or something to the guy who runs Stuttgart because he found an idiot to pay 70 million for that guy. Remember now they spent 14 million on a loan for Nicholas Jackson with a potential to buy him for 70 at the end of it. But Woutermend is the guy who found, that Stuttgart found an idiot to buy. I reckon.
Look,
I think
I'm
the
not sure
Premier
about the
League is
price
going to
tag.
suit him. I think the Premier
I think the Premier League is going to suit him. I do think he is pretty much exactly what Newcastle need right now, which is a new talisman out in the front line. But I'm not sure 70 is. I'm not ready to say it's been
Do you know
worth
what I
70
love?
million
There
yet.
was this attitude thing, right? And watching the game, and if you go and find the clip, when he scores his goal, Saliba basically decks him.
Yeah,
in the celebration, like I know that's probably, you know what I mean. He basically like gives him a strong elbow in the cleaning.
don't antagonize them again, please.
No,
They're
but
very
like it was
tired.
one of those ones. But he just kept going, like about his celebration. Turned around, and went what the fuck, and kept going about his celebration. And then after the game, wouldn't shake his hand, just strolled off the pitch. And when
Well,
they
you never
were
like
asking,
to see that.
no, but after the game, he said like his interview after the game about it was very interesting because he literally went because they asked him why didn't he shake his hand. It's like, why would I? It was like he knew what he did. Like he knew what he did. There's no place for that on the pitch, and he then came up to me a minute later and went, "Oops, sorry about that mistake." It's like you knew what you did. Don't try to be high mighty now. Essentially, it was a nice take in the sense that he was just like, I could have gone down. I could have made a meal of it. I probably could have got him sent off. But like, I want to play the game a certain way, and I have a certain belief in how the game should be played, and that's not it.
Yeah,
and I like that attitude. I like the attitude. I like his attitude. It means if there's a 50-50 ball in the air going in the box, he's going for it. Like he's not doing the I might go for it and try win a pen. He's meaning it when he goes for that. So I think he's an asset to pick up. I know he's not in the team of the week, not in the team of the year, but I think he's an asset to.
He's not yet. I think with a bit of settling in time and the right fixtures, though, keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, once to put in your bench and incubate now, like before he's taken.
Unfortunately, the next player in the team of the week is a player that there is absolutely nothing we can say about, which is Declan Rice with a storming 32 points. Again, to my new friends, the Arsenal fans, I just want you to know that there's a little bit more discussion of these players over on statterdraft.com and the team of the week post, and what I said about Declan Rice, I'm not going to repeat on air, but I stand by it.
He's very good.
He's very good.
He's very good. Do you know what? I would say he's the only north of 100 mil deal that I've seen done where the player has actually been a success.
How much was Haaland?
65 or something. He had a release clause.
Okay.
Yeah, he was under 70. It was a release clause drill. He was a sneaky price. But any of the others that have gone over 100, I haven't seen perform yet. It seems to be that trigger of the price tag, like the weight of that price tag.
Though, late last season and
I would be willing to say. I would probably be willing to say that. I would actually be willing to say that. I think those two have been fair ones, but there's been of the 10 or 12 internationally, I mean, including Mbappe to PSG, like for the crazy money that he was.
So who else is in the 9-digit club in England?
Let me pull up the details.
I know Caicedo anyway, and Rice, and probably 2 or 3 United strikers.
No, United haven't actually broken 100 per player.
Really?
No.
Okay. What you call him? Isaac.
So
that guy.
Yeah. But he's had he's not fit yet, so not really. So he had Neymar to PSG was a waste of time. It didn't work for 222. Mbappe to PSG for 180 didn't really work. Ousmane Dembele for Barcelona for 148. It took him going to PSG and rediscovering his love for football to win the Ballon d'Or, but he was basically walked out the back door at Barca. Alexander Isaac, let's wait and see. Philip Coutinho to Barcelona, never happened. João Felix to Atleti for 127, never worked. Florian Wirtz next. Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea, jury's out on that at that money for 120.
120, yeah, it's high. But when
Keep
you
going.
factor in the Chelsea
It's not
tax,
he.
good
I don't
player.
think he's done it yet for me for 120
Okay.
for that price. Keep going on the list. You had Eden Hazard at 120, Antoine Griezmann to Barca, which was also a tanker. Jack Grealish, Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus. So this was a bit later in his career. He did fine there, but didn't do what he was bought to do. Declan Rice, Moses Caicedo, Romelu Lukaku, Paul Pogba, and that's your top.
Yeah, Rice and Caicedo are the two that jump out to me. Forgive me for knowing very, very little about things that happen outside English football because that's
Sure.
not really where my numbers
But like
come
when
from.
you look
But
through,
I think
when you're
Rice and Caicedo.
when those are the numbers we're talking about, there does seem to be a weight on that price, and like I get it. It's a lot of mental pressure for someone to take on. Going like that's 100 million of a layout that a club has put on you. You have to perform. That's a lot of pressure on anybody. So from a purely human factor, like forget about their footballers. Like they don't decide the price, but they have to feel the pressure of it. Which Declan Rice and Moses Caicedo of that whole list that I've named out, and hot take Florian Wirtz is next on that list.
I think you'll come around on Fernandez.
I will.
I think the
I
flexibility of him.
I will.
And
but
you know
last
what?
season he did it for 6 months, didn't do it for the other half. I think if you're going like Declan Rice has been a machine.
Yes, he has, and you know there's a formula there that we won't get into. You've read it. We'll let the lovely listeners go over to SaturDraft.com and have a read of it. But I think I can without knowing anything about football, I think I've puzzled out what makes him such an asset in terms of fantasy, whatever about real football. And next up, a fella who I think everybody just kind of loves. It's Dominic Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
Like nobody seems to have anything against the guy. He seems to be a right gentleman on the pitch. He's getting up, he's defending, he's attacking, he's moving the ball one end to the other. He's in the right spot. He's helping his team out. He's a good lad, and he's got 29 points this week. Not his first appearance in Team of the Week. Weirdly, there's been this over and back thing between him and Gravenberch.
I think he's the underrated talent in that team. The guy that gets forgotten about because Gravenberch's repositioning to 6 has made him obviously a very talked about asset. McAllister has
It's the two of them over and back. Every week, one of them is in the Team of the Week, but never both. You know, and I don't know if that's about how they're playing Liverpool. But we need to talk about that in a while. But yeah, Szoboszlai's back. And finally, ring some sort of tiny bell. A record has been broken. Highest single week score out of any player this season was Sean Longstaff for Leeds.
Huh?
Yeah. Wow. 44 points in 1 week. Highest haul anyone has so far in a single week. Do you know what he did, right? What he did was simple. Everything. He did absolutely everything. He got a goal, he got an assist, he was getting aerials, he was getting tackled, he was getting crosses in, he was getting passes connected. He was everywhere. A couple of fouls as well, so you can see he's getting stuck in every direction. Not that fouls are good, of course. But yes, well done, that young man. Lovely to see a Leeds player make the Team of the Week.
I'm sure Dermot's happy about that.
Yeah. Wherever he is, our Dermot is probably delighted about it. Then we've got our front three, which is a front 3.5, and I feel I should explain. We had 2 players tied, but I made a decision on a very important criterion, which I will explain at the end of the piece. First up, highest scoring forward in the league again.
Erling Haaland. 8 goals already this season. Next up behind him is 4. Like, I've been saying it since the summer. Him having a break, him getting his shit together. This is going to be dangerous. Player of his ability wasn't going to have the season. Oh my God, he had a bad year and he finished second in the goal scoring charts. Like, do you know what I mean? So, the beast is back and we're all fucked. And we've talked about that in length about how City's changing style to be a bit more vertical, a bit more isolated, direct, is paying off massive dividends. And when you've got a centre forward like that, you play to his strengths, which is something I couldn't understand last year. But Erling Haaland over on the other side. I actually said this on the live on Saturday morning. There was a question about it, and I'm very proud of myself for saying it. Not very proud of myself for not actually doing it. But literally, the question was asked, do I triple captain Haaland this week? I was like, oh yeah, he's against Burnley. Why didn't I do that? I'm a moron.
I didn't bring him into this week.
Now, at least you brought him in. My team had Haaland in it, so I'm burning away at the top of most of my leagues.
I am not. I'm having a terrible FPL season.
Dina Hearn is
I have an
bouncing over
excuse.
there.
I'm super
Dina Hearn
busy
is
with
bouncing
Statr.
over there. Years of playing this draft style has actually finally turned Dean into a competent overall fantasy player. Because when you can pick whatever player you want and you understand
Feels
the
like
way
easy
our
mode.
system works, it's playing on easy mode. You just go, I'll have a little bit of that. I'll have a little bit of that. I'll have a little bit of that. And I reckon, like, I'm in a competition like top 10% in the world from last year or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? With Steve, one of the boys, and I think it was actually Dave who was the other one from our group who got into that category from last season. Like,
that doesn't surprise me. Dave is our champion.
Dave is our champion.
Good to see him at the weekend as well.
Who reminded us profusely at the weekend that he was our champion, and we must.
Yeah, not shy about being the king, and that's
like,
exactly
do you know what?
how it should be.
This is, and do you know what? Just to sidetrack there, this is like the beautiful thing about fantasy football and playing like our kind of way, is it becomes this like thing that even at the wedding, like, even at a mate's wedding, we've had Gary's wedding where Dean and Gary met for the first time. We've had like this wedding where Dave was like, every time I walk past, you have to refer to me as your champion. And I'm like, fine. And you get these beautiful moments down the years. Like the day that we rock up with Dean's, I'm disgusted we didn't get the Fabian share shout out that we were looking for Dean. That would have
Fabian, if you're listening and you're out there trying to do voiceover work, we were looking for you, bro. How could you let me down? It's Dean you're supposed to let down. Just a quick fact check on our relative FPL performance. We don't usually go there very often, particularly not when we're talking about three different things at once. But just a quick guessing game, John. How many points ahead of me do you think you are in FPL?
Am I 50?
Because you're having a good season and I'm having a bad season.
50? Really?
308 to 307 as of Gameweek 6 conclusion. So it's on.
It's on.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, the team of the week. Yes.
Oh yeah, Haaland.
And
Jaden
Ben
Anthony made it again.
Well, we'll come back to Jaden Anthony.
Okay. That's the thing.
Thiago outscored Anthony on 30 points. Eager Thiago. And I think it's one of these last man standing, only real attacking option situations at Brentford at the moment. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of joy there out front.
No,
but he picked up.
He's their new boy.
He's the boy. Yeah, he's got the biggest beard of the men that are left, so he's now the boy.
That seems to be the Brentford method. To be fair,
worked well from Buemo and Vissa. Yeah. If you're the Brentford before that. Yeah. But Thiago makes it clean on 30. Now, here's the controversial
one. He was very good. Gifted two of his second goal was no, who scored that? No, that was Norga. Yeah. Anyway, his first goal was a gift from between Dalot and Bayindir. Dalot is increasingly getting worse, and Bayindir is by far. Bayindir, did you see the stat?
I saw the stat. Pass or save rate is what?
54%. So by far the worst. He's saving 1 and 2.
I mean, that would be impressive in a different league.
No, it wouldn't. Even at my level, saving every second shot is like, you need a new goalkeeper. He's not very good.
You're going to get 6-7 shots in a game, huh?
Yeah.
Well, look, he's clearly not a long-term solution, but it's funny you mentioned United.
Worse, but like the first goal that Thiago got was a gift from between the two idiots over there. His second goal, but you know what it is? What he was doing very well. He's a bully boy.
Yeah,
he's a big back attacker. I'm disgusted that Mateta's not in this.
Just didn't make it, mate. I'm surprised that Palace didn't show up more, but I have a small theory on that, but I don't want to go there because
sure. Anyway, go on. Talk to me about this split decision thing.
So the split decision this week was there was 2 strikers finished on 26 points, and I thought about it and I looked at 2 of them, right? And the first one is Jaden Anthony for Burnley, who is the only person that survived from last week's team.
Yep.
Everybody else is a full turnover. Because he scored again, and Burnley aren't super. Burnley aren't going to light up the sky, but there's a little bit of a kind of a romance underdog story here.
They did lose 5-1. And what you mean?
They lost 5-1, but he got the
Parker is getting fired, and okay.
Yeah, but they're going to lose everything 5-1. But it looks like Anthony is going to consistently be the one that gets the 1. So keep an eye on him. He's kind of a fairy tale, little bit of a fairy tale story, bright spark in a burning shit heap. And then the other one was Benjamin Sesko. And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? Seeing as the Premier League at this point is really just a kind of a 38-week exercise in BDSM with Manchester United as the sub, I just took out Sesko because the United fans' pain is so sweet. It's so good. No, look, Sesko was all right, and he might get good, but no, Anthony gets the last spot just on the.
I think that one's fair as well. But the call,
he's got harder work. I mean, think about it. Whatever else you can say about Sesko, Sesko has one of the most incredibly expensive midfield supporting attacking lines behind him. He's getting better feed than Jaden fucking Anthony at Burnley. So I think Burnley outshone.
I think that's nearly arguable at the moment, but yeah.
Well, it should be on paper.
Yeah.
So we keep the Burnley man in and keep United out, and that's a couple of little number things. It's first week that the average was over 30, and it wasn't just over 30; it was over 31. High scoring week. Relatively good on discipline, except for one little mistake. If any of you were watching last week, I said Trevoh Chalobah had scored 3 weeks in a row. He was hot shit. Draft him now. He immediately got a straight red card. Isn't
that like fantasy 101? When you put your head on a line for a player, they let you down. And when you sub him out, that's the day he scores his hat-trick and you feel like a git.
And if you want a hot tip for next week, I've just dropped Salah, and so has everyone else. You know what's going to happen now, don't you? It's going to be a hat-trick. It's going to be 4. Everyone's dropped Salah to buy Haaland, because you can only have one or the other.
I have both.
I've done it.
I have both.
Okay. Well, you're 1 point ahead of me. Does entitle you to not be mocked just yet.
No, but hold on a second. After week 4, I was bottom of all my leagues, so I've done my heavy lifting in the last 2.
Fair enough.
I used my wild card once I figured out the problem and fixed it.
Okay, I'll buy that. But look, we've fallen into talking about Big Brother again.
Anyway, if we look at let's look at the fixtures from the weekend. I don't want to do the United pile-on because the amount of content out, it's click farming at this stage.
Everyone knows what's happening.
Well, it's not even that. Brentford are going to beat other teams. Brentford are playing Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time after the internationals. Wouldn't be surprised if they get a result. They have been a hard team across the board. It's not beyond the realms of possibility for Brentford to beat anybody. And we've talked about the United goalkeeper situation ad nauseum, and until that's sorted, this shit is going to keep on happening.
I mean, Brentford are now in the space that Dermot was talking about a few weeks back, where, the Premier League, the beauty of the Premier League is that there's very, very few easy fixtures. Brentford are no longer an easy fixture, even though they're not great this year. But
Brentford at home is Brentford take points off of teams at home. It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Massive shout out to my boy Keith, who had a penalty go against him, saw a rattled United captain who's not used to missing penalties, and immediately brought on 3 subs in slow motion, meaning there was 4 minutes between the foul and the shot where Bruno was just standing there with the ball. That is some world-class shithousing. World-class.
I think Keith Andrews, do you know what the thing is with Keith Andrews? He's not fashionable because he's not Italian, he's not Spanish, he's Irish. It's this thing of he's not if he was like Glasner right now and speaking with a Dutch or a German accent, to be like, oh my God, look at this very clever set piece tactician. But because he's Irish, it's like he's playing a Langer ball into the box.
I mean, look, maybe there's a bit of unfairness there, but you couldn't really say that in the context of Germany, France, Portugal, Italy, Spain, Holland, and England that we're a footballing nation.
We're not no, but I'm saying there's a different he's automatically everybody went, oh shit, he's going to be fucking shit. He's going to be useless. What are they doing hiring him? Brentford have hired their last 3 managers internally. When you look at what Brentford did, the long throw that he essentially designed with their set piece coach has become a standard this year. Thomas Frank has brought it across with him to Spurs. Every team now is trying to use throw-ins as a set piece. That's a Keith Andrews brainchild. It is and it isn't, because it goes back to, I don't know, there was a guy he used to play football with who was very good at a long throw called Rory fucking Delap.
Yes.
It's almost like it's almost like it's common sense, and he's a very. I find he's a very good. He seems like he's a very good common sense manager. But if his name was Iriola, if his name was Glasner, if his name was Andruzo, it would be like, oh, look at this tactician. But he's going to get pigeonholed as this unfashionable type coach. Brentford aren't playing bad football, but they know how to work a set piece. So
They do, and set pieces
credit to the boy.
seem to be set pieces seem to be now what inverting fucking fullbacks was 5 years ago. Like they seem to be the thing that is like you're doing it or you're losing.
The set pieces have always been a bit like that, but because
sure, not to the degree that like Brentford or our friends Arsenal or Palace are not the ones with the long throw-ins, I believe.
Most teams have started implementing it this season. The rates of so basically, if you watch the numbers, Brentford had scored 3 times as many goals from long throws as any other team in the league until the start of this season.
Right.
Now, basically, other teams looked at that data and went, okay, that's a gap we're missing, because if they're able to average 1 in every 4 goals or 5 goals coming from using a long throw as a set piece rather than as a possession retention strategy, because that's what Liverpool hired the same coach, right? The same coach that is at Brentford doing the throw-ins. They hired him under Jurgen Klopp, and the idea was how to utilize the extra man in terms of possession retention and starting their attack. Whereas at Brentford, it was how do we use this in our armory to our advantage?
Okay.
We have X and Y who can throw a ball 30 yards. How do we use this to our advantage? And now other teams are seeing that pattern that they were creating. So credit to Keith Andrews. I think he's going to be he's going to do fine. Like, Brentford are not going to be any better or any worse than they were last year. And if you said that to Brentford fans or ownership after getting rid of Mbeumo, Thomas Frank and Vissa this summer, and go, bet business as usual, you're going to be the same team that causes teams problems and you're going to be great.
Any Brentford fan with any bit of wisdom would have taken that to the bank.
Yeah, last year. They're going to be no different than what they were last year. It's just that the personnel doing the bits are going to be different. So I think fair enough. Let's move on from that talk.
Let's move on to Chelsea losing to their academy team. Chelsea, who did their very best to either play former Brighton players or get anyone that didn't play for Brighton immediately sent off, lost 3-1 to Brighton, and I'm delighted about it. Absolutely delighted.
Back-to-back losses over return. Back-to-back losses for Chelsea.
But it's also the return of arguably, some might say, the greatest striker in Premier League history.
Danny
Welbeck. And you know what? Even if I wasn't a Brighton fan, if I was seeing Danny Welbeck pop up for Bournemouth or for Brentford or for
it's just a problem.
Not Palace, but he's just not going to stop himself. He's like a Vardy. You know, he's like a Danny Ings. These boys who knock around way past their sell-by date.
The problem the reason why Danny Welbeck even ended there was because his knees were made of cheese. Like, he couldn't stay fit at United, went to Arsenal, couldn't stay fit there either. Had a decent career both. Like, United actually looked at bringing him back a year ago in terms of good for the academy thing and a senior striker happy to rotate out. He's class. We love Danny Welbeck. He's going to be one of those Premier League streets don't forget type strikers. But I do want to touch on the Chelsea discipline problem, because they got a red card last night in the Champions League again. So that's 3 of their last 4 games with a red card. Yeah.
What happened? Who is it now?
Enzo.
You're kidding me. Straight or 2 yellows?
2 yellows. Was it 2 yellows? Either way, it was another red card. 3 and 4 games now at Chelsea. Totally don't have a discipline problem. If I'm an opposition manager, I'm going, ride them. They're soft mentally. They'll react, get under their skin. Tell Cole Palmer to count to 10.
Yeah. Like I don't want to say wheels falling off the bus, because nobody's got their players bump this time of the year. But they've got 3-1 at home.
But look at the personalities there. João Pedro, sparky. Enzo, sparky. Like Robert Sanchez, stupid. Chalobah did what needed to be done, but they've got a few guys in that dressing room, like Cucurella is an emotional man. Like, not a criticism. Like, you need guys like this in your dressing room, guys that'll fight the fight, but it's knowing how to keep that in check. And 3 red cards in 4 games is a problem. And if I'm an opposition manager, I'm going, here, talk to them, stand up, trot on their feet by accident, pinch them at a corner, lean against them, and just be annoying and see if you can get a reaction, because it seems to be you can get a reaction and get them to do things.
Yeah, I think Malo Gusto is probably my pick for next Chelsea red card.
Yeah, there you go.
I just a feeling I have. Cole Palmer isn't that kind of kid.
Well, he's not
João
back yet.
Pedro will get himself in trouble, but he won't get himself sent off.
Yes, he will.
But I'm going to say Gusto. Well, yeah, maybe. But I'm going to say Gusto. I'm going to say Gusto. You saying Pedro? I'm saying Gusto. Either way, let's see who it is next week. But to be fair, despite their shocking disciplinary record, when they're not getting carded, they're an incredibly good set of assets fantasy wise. Like I've got
João
4 who are at
Pedro.
100 plus for the year, which is Tyreek Mitchell, Enzo, Caicedo, and Chalaba. Below that, just out, I'd say 80 plus is Reece James, Neto, and João Pedro, and like it's a solid squad. Which is strange because the exact opposite of that, unfortunately, is my beloved Brighton. They had just one man in double digits last week, apart from Wele.
De Kuiper.
Can you imagine who it was?
De
Can you
Kuiper?
guess? No.
Verbruggen?
No. Who is it always?
Oh, Matoma.
It's Matoma.
Obviously.
It's always Matoma, and it'll always be Matoma. So, where Chelsea are a troublesome, awkward squad who get themselves in trouble, they generally score points. And Brighton are a team who are generally winning games, but they kind of don't. So this is where fantasy and football diverge just a little bit. That's enough of them. Palace beat Liverpool.
So this is the most successful Palace team in the history of Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And this is after they sold their best player this summer in Eze. Yeah. And do you know what the thing is? It wasn't a smash and grab job against Liverpool. They thoroughly... I watched this game. Mateta, I really like Mateta. Do you remember in the summer I was saying the teams that were looking at the Sesko and looking at the this and the that, and I was like, you go buy Mateta. He big, he awkward, he uncomfortable. He's not exactly the most graceful guy on the pitch, but he's very good and he gets a job done. Even on the days where he doesn't score, he occupies a whole backline by himself. And there was a lot of that this week where he was in like a one-on-one battle like with Van Dijk, and it was just the two boys scrapping, and Ismail Assar was able to do his bit. Eddie Nketiah came off the bench and did his bit. Liverpool look a little all at sea defensively, but their attack is dangerous.
So here's one for you.
And Alisson's out this weekend because he got injured last night in the Champions League.
Yeah, what's our level there? I know it's a wrist thing, isn't it?
At the moment, only this week.
Okay.
Livermento for Newcastle is out for 6 to 8 as of last night as well.
He's made of biscuits. Like that was always his problem. I'm going to throw one at you, John. Okay. Tell me, sir, if you can, how many Crystal Palace players scored 10 points or more this week?
2.
The correct answer is 8.
All right.
They went full Arnie Ball in terms of the stats. Like we had talked about, obviously, anybody who stuck with us through the summer, we were looking at teams and their prospects and who do you pick from each team. And my case for Liverpool was pick absolutely fucking anyone because the way they're playing, everybody is doing everything. Palace did the same thing to Liverpool this week. They are now the only unbeaten team in the Premier League this season. They're sitting in third.
Assets wise, they're just clean. Like Munoz is if right now, if you don't have a Palace defender in your lineup, you're missing something. Tyreek Mitchell, Gahey, Munoz, Lacroix.
Their top 5 players season to date are all defenders. I'm not even sure they play 5 at the back, but they've got.
They do. They play 3-4-3.
Is it 3-4-3? Yeah,
it's 3-4-3.
So what we've got is Gahey and Mitchell basically on 100 and something each.
Yeah.
And then Lacroix 98, Munoz 97, and Richards 89. Again, like with Arsenal, if you're not sure what to do, grab a Palace defender fast.
They're just right now. If I'm picking because we're going to draft our final test draft actually very soon, if I'm looking at my defenders right now, I'm going get me a Spurs defender, get me an Arsenal defender, and get me a Palace defender, and I'm happy at that point. And long term, get me a fucking a Liverpool defender. But right now, it just seems like the boys are trying to get betting in Frimpong and Kirkes. Flanking Van Dijk. It's not that it's going to be fine. Frimpong's a very good player. Kirkes is a fine player. I just think that's a betting in issue when you change 3 of the back 4 in the summer. Not that Bournemouth have had that problem, but we're talking levels here.
Well, funny you mentioned Bournemouth because Bournemouth let 2 past them. via Leeds this week.
Mm.
Not great. Not
But
terrible.
yeah, kudos to Palace. I'm
kudos to
loving
Palace.
No, do you know what? I'm loving this version of Palace because fuck the FA, fuck FIFA, and fuck UEFA for the way they were done over the summer. Like,
Well, yeah.
with
Yeah,
this
fair
conference and Europa League thing, and the fact that they were nearly losing their captain right up until the end because they couldn't really plan their squad and they couldn't really get their house in order over the summer because they didn't know which competition they were in. And they've just essentially just stood there, cracked their neck both directions, and went, we're going to continue doing what we did last season, so get out of my way.
Yep.
And if you don't want us in the Europa League, well, then guess what? You're going to be seeing us there next year. Carry on, lads. Crystal Palace, kudos to you. Take that chip on your shoulder and ride it all the way through Europe for the season. I am here for that fucking adventure. And Pino, keep an eye on him.
It's hard to dislike them, but I'm legally obliged to dislike them, but it's hard to dislike them. I like their manager. I like their results. I like the attitude. I like that any team that has 5 high-scoring defenders where you don't see an absolute schmather on the cards says to me that they're playing good, clean, honest, talented football. And more power to them.
They just work. They're just good.
Yeah, they just work. Todd Howard, he'd be so proud of us. Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2.
Good game of ball. Good game of ball, but yeah, neither team are like screaming assets. If I'm looking at Leeds, it's still Statr, it's still Goodmunson. If I'm looking at Bournemouth, it's Senesi and Semenyo. We move on.
We move on. Nothing was learned this week from that game. City and Burnley, 5-1.
Burnley were in that game until they weren't. Erling Haaland happened.
I think what the biggest happening in that game, and my heart goes out to this guy because I hadn't heard of him before. Because football, 2 OGs. That's going past funny and into just like heartbreakingly unfortunate.
He didn't have a good. And having watched them, they were both. You know, they were defender things. It was a case of he was doing the right thing by. It's not like it was comedy of error. You passed the ball back to your keeper and then he swung a foot and missed. Like he was trying to make like a good on his block and spiraled off him and deflected it there. Or those ones where you have to like block out a cross and just normally 99 times out of 100 you turn it past the post, but just this time turned the wrong side of it. Still a good player. I wouldn't think too much into just one of them shitty days.
I just feel for the guy. I do. And then Erling Haaland did the Erling Haaland thing, and we all know Erling Haaland.
Yeah, we'll just breeze through some of these. Sunderland, Forest, Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka.
3 assists already, doing bits of everything. You were saying you had a little.
He's team of the year. He's team of the year. Now we're not really ready to talk too in depth about the team of the year yet because obviously we have limited time and
it's only 6 weeks into the season,
and it's only 6 weeks in. It's silly, but Granit Xhaka is absolutely part of the team of the year so far. He has been in there for the last 3 weeks. Didn't make the team of the week this year, and it didn't matter because his points are that good every other week. He wasn't far off the team of the week. I just love a revival.
But that's Granit Xhaka. He's going to be one of those guys who never actually makes it into the team. I reckon this year he might make it into the team of the year once, but he'll always be on the fringes. He's an action, like he's perfect for Sunderland. He's a leader. Do you know the way Brentford did it? Like Brentford did a great thing by signing Jordan Henderson for the dressing room this summer, and a guy that's been there, done that, has the T-shirt. They've done it with Sunderland, done the same thing with Granit Xhaka. 2 great buys, 2 great guys for the dressing room, 2 proper leaders, and Granit Xhaka has quite a bit about him. I've loved his redemption arc since that real nadir time at Arsenal. To go from that to a Ballon d'Or listed player to come into a team like Sunderland because he's there for the adventure, he's there for the challenge, and the man loves football. I'm here for that. Wolves, Spurs.
No. Shame that Forest lost again. You know,
that squad ain't an end squad. That squad ain't an end squad. I said it already. There's ability there. That's not going to work. That's going to be a very quick arrangement, and it's going to spill the end of Avengers time in England, and I'm very sad about it. He should have waited a couple of weeks again to West Ham, because West Ham and his attacking football and the West Ham fan base and his honesty in his way of speaking, match made in heaven.
From Spurs to West Ham.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah. It's not Spurs to Arsenal, like.
No, that would be insane.
Yeah, and West Ham would have been the fit, but what are you going to do? This is going to be a very short-lived experiment. Spurs, Wolves, Spurs aren't Spurs anymore. They're grinding out games when they need to. They did it again last night in Europe. 2-0 down to Bodo Glimt away. Came back, drew a 2-2. Did this to Wolves. Wolves are putting in some more of attrition football the last 2 weeks. It's not sustainable. Don't pick a Wolves asset. If you're looking at Spurs, they've got bits and pieces around the park. It's still Pedro Porro. It's still Vicario. It's still a fit Van de Ven when he's fit. And apart from that, don't go for anybody else. As much as I love João Palhinha.
Kudus. Got some love for Kudus.
Sure.
He's starting to shine this year.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. He's doing all right.
Can I have my rant?
Oh, no. We've reached Fulham, haven't we?
Fuck VAR. No, do you know what? It's not about VAR. It's actually not about VAR. It's about actually the state of refereeing. The referee gave the pen against Martinez, and it's one of these things, and I hate the fact that I've agreed with Paul Merson of all people, but he said it. He was like, I don't know why the referees bother going to the monitor, because the second you know they're walking over there, they're going to agree with their mate. They'll never, a referee doesn't stand beside their decision when they go to the monitor. They don't look at it and go, no, I respect what you're seeing, but I'm standing by my decision. There was, do you know what I mean? Like, Josh King got booked for Martinez clattering him.
Yeah, well, that was a bit silly.
After the penalty, so the penalty was overturned, and then Matty Cash handled it. So that's 4 out of 6 weeks of PGML apology post the game. Like, they're like, that's just one team, and that goal, that penalty was when it was 1-0.
Yeah,
to Fulham. That puts it 2-0. That puts the game beyond Villa. That's a momentum shifter. Ollie Watkins, I did write in my thing in my preview this week. It was going to be 2-2, and the Ollie Watkins ship was going to start sailing. So I was half right, but I'm just not liking this thing of it. Like, a lot of people are shouting about VAR because there's been some weird decisions across the board. It's not VAR that's the problem. It's the implementation. It's the wrong people in Stockley Park. It's the refs' mates. It's other referees. And it shouldn't be. I think it should be ex-pros who know the game. I think it should be a dedicated, trained VAR assistant and not another referee, because it's a case of, oh, well, should we know each other? We've been mates. We do all the same courses together. I don't want you to look stupid, so you won't make me look stupid the next time I go out in the game. Congratulations to Villa. Your slump is over. Both teams are going to do what they do. The game is over. Congratulations. John McGinn is a fucking hero. I love John McGinn's way of playing football. All action style. One man pulling the team back into the game. Love to see it. Like, credit there. My only complaint about that game is it's the more and more of the, like, VAR works in European competitions because there's less personal relations between the VAR and the match day referee, and it's clean. The process is quicker and the decisions are cleaner. But it's the standard of the VAR and the standard of the refereeing that's more of the problem. The technology works. It's how it's implemented is absolutely appalling. That it's like, oh, we think there might have been a light touch at when we slow it down to 120 frames a second. It's like, if you watch the game, anybody who watched that game knew that that was a pen. It's a stone.
I still don't think it's as simple as go 2-0 up and shut the game down.
No, it's not. But it's a very different game to what.
It's a different game. It's a very different.
You're 1-0 up, and now Villa have the ascendancy because it's, oh, we got away with one, and you know it. And then,
no, I get it. It's clearly an injustice, and I don't know enough about how referees should operate to know what I'm not seeing.
For me, it's just a case of it's not a case of, oh, the referees out and whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. It's the standard of refereeing in the Premier League is getting progressively worse and has been getting progressively worse. And like, you're seeing segments on TV shows and stuff where referees are talking and defending, and essentially it's like this little jerkle of circles of stuff where the lads are all basically protecting each other. Like, I've seen segments where ex-players have turned around to refereeing and gone, are you serious, mate? Are you serious? Are you telling me? Are you honestly telling me that you agree with that decision? And like the ex-referee on-site programs are like, yeah, of course. Like, you can see that this is what happened. It's like, go away, lads. You're all just it's like the goalkeepers union. They all protect each other, fine. But the referees one is actually affecting outcomes of games. And I don't like this idea that independent Stockley Park reviewer, NFL red zone, one base, one room of dudes that go through all of the games.
Makes sense.
Straightforward.
So
you get a room in there with like a player like Joe Cole or Rio Ferdinand. You get 2 dedicated VARs, and you have an ex-player's idea. You have a referee's opinion and you have an independent VAR adjudicator in a room. He goes,
Sorry, how do you get consensus in a room with that many opinions while a game is on without 10-minute bar break?
because it's very quick, because it happens in rugby.
But rugby is different. Rugby has laws instead of rules.
No, they're
Right, like that, it's massively different because everything is open is subjective for the referee in rugby. Look at me talking like I know sport, but I know this much: refs are allowed way more interpretation in rugby.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. See, this is the thing, because when it goes, the difference in rugby is the referee's mic'd up. I do like this new miking up of the ref, where after the VAR
Yeah.
they do explain the
Yeah, it's no
decision. I like that. I do like that a bit more. But what I don't like is they go to this little mini monitor, put it up on the big screen, and talk us through your decision like they do in rugby. So at least then you're hearing the explanation in real time. Because what you're hearing now is they release audio clip footage of the conversation 6 weeks later when they're either defending or going against the conversation, and the heat of the moment has gone away. It's like, well, it's too late to fix the problem now. Up on a big screen, every Premier League stadium has a big screen. Up on the big screen, referee, live mic, talk through the decision, and let the referee be the referee. And the buck still stops with the referee, and it should. But the VAR assistants in Stockley Park should be independent adjudicators who know the game, who'll go, hey, buddy, have a quick look. It's like, yeah, let me have a look at that. Boom, gone, move on. The standard of refereeing is poor. Anyway.
Let us plough on. So that's Fulham beaten by Villa. Newcastle and Arsenal. My beloved Arsenal beat Newcastle. Do you know what? Stats-wise, I've got one for you stats-wise. There was only one man on that pitch this week. There was only one man on that pitch this week. Apart from Declan Rice, who we've already talked about, there was only one man on that pitch this week in terms of the numbers. It was Sandro Tonali. Sandro Tonali racked up 27 points and was this far from Team of the Week this year.
Fair.
Or this week.
Eze was class in the 10, though.
Eze was class, yes. Yeah, well, Eze was class to watch, but Tonali was class to have on your
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to give Arteta praise. I said going in the car, I had two of my boys from the football team in the car, Arsenal fans. I know I had two Arsenal fans in the car on the same day. Brothers, might you add. But yeah, we were talking about the game. I was like, well, Arsenal's set-piece system isn't going to work against Newcastle, so they have to find a different way, given the size and strength. And I could see this game being a really dull, cancelled-out affair because of that. And Arteta kind of went against his own rule book, put Eze in the 10 and went, do you know what? Let's have a pop at him. And I kudos to him for that. So wise, nothing changes for both of those teams. Like, it's still the business as usual there.
Yeah, there's very little insight gained. I would say just keep a close eye on a couple of guys who are starting to come good, and are transferred in very late in the season this week, which is Zubamendi and Waltemend.
And who?
Keep eyes on Waltemend, is it?
Or whatever.
The guy, the big blondie lad with the
big dude.
Yeah, keep an eye on the two of them because their points just are gradually creeping up and up and up each week, and I think they're both just about ready to pop off. And then there's the most played fixture in the Premier League.
West Ham under new management.
It should be a boring game. It wasn't. It was great to watch. I'm loving Everton this year. Really enjoying what they're doing.
Nuno's first game at West Ham, ending with a Jared Bowen. So basically business as usual, West Ham. Here's the theory. Next Christmas, Nuno's not in that job.
I mean, you do tell us a lot that managers are going to get sacked, and you tend to be right. So I'm not even going to argue.
Nuno won't be in that job next year, and the reason why is West Ham are in clean shit right now. They need a more pragmatic, more defense-minded, let's stay in the league and progress type manager. And then next year it'll be a case of, well, we need to go forward, and his style of football is really boring and defensive, and we need someone more attacking minded, and we go round and round and round on the same rabbit wheel, which we've done for the last few years, which is sack Moyes, hire new managers, sack him, hire Moyes, sack him, hire a new manager, and now we're here again. And remember, like, the last guy who won something with them was David Moyes, who played not the best brand of football, but not the worst. It was very defense first at West Ham, but built on solid foundations. And if he had better forward players, he would have opened up and pushed forward a bit more. Fair, fine. West Ham want to play what I would call the historic West Ham way: quick wingers, quick football, attack. And like the West Ham have been known for this type of football throughout their history. They are known as an attack first type club, which great, cool. But at the same stage, what'll happen there is this time next year they'll be like, "Well, Nuno's football's boring. We need someone a bit more exciting." And he'll lose 2 or 3 games on the bounce as well. Well, if we're fucking losing games when we're fucking playing shit defensive football anyway, we may as well fucking go out, mate. And then they're going to go hire someone sexy and then repeat the fucking cycle again. Anyway, there's my West Ham rant. I just like them to be.
It was a good rant. That was the week that was. Lots of injury time goals, lots of own goals by that Stev lad, and no clean sheets anywhere, which is great.
Is that a good place to sign off on the rant? Yeah, Jimmy, do the Statr. Jimmy, do the Statr update.
We've got to do a quick Statr update because we've been burning your ears for long enough, all you lovely, lovely folk out there. The app. We're already seeing Team of the Week over on StatRdraft.com. The app we've made is where that's coming from. The points we're talking about are coming from that app, from our point system, from our little game that we have basically been using ourselves, and now we're moving into some test leagues this evening and hopefully a little bit of a breakthrough for next week. We can't tell you about just yet, but do stay tuned. And pretty soon, and don't hold me to timelines here because I'm not that kind of guy, but pretty soon we'll be getting onto the first wave of the waiting list with your invite codes and your join links. And when that happens,
and if you want to get on that waiting list, which has been since reopened, where do you get it?
You get it at I'm cropping badly there. You get it at statrdraft.com. That's statterdraft.com. And there's also a bucket of fun articles by Jon, a little bit of retrospective analysis by yours truly, and all sorts of other good stuff there, loads of squad info and the waiting list. So head on over to statterdraft.com and we'll love you. It's
Peace out.
Cool.